Okay, geothermal wells, 300 feet for our geothermal loop. And this machine is something else. There's a skid steer inside there. I don't know if you can tell. You can see its tracks here. Can't see anything. I can't go further over because we lost about 10 gallons of hydraulic fluid here. Which, of all the places to spray hydraulic fluid in this situation, this one right here is optimum. I put this as what great luck. Our temp door pathway here, totally awesome. Apparently when we broke the hydraulic line, we also blew up the rotary air compressor. So that's entertaining. Yeah, so maybe I can tiptoe through here. It looks like we're a little wet here, but not in danger. There's a skid steer. It's spectacular. I don't know if anybody's ever did they ride in this thing? Did they ride in this thing, or did they just do it all from outside?
All the controls are here.
All the controls are on this situation here. I love it. This is unreal. Yeah, there's like, the seat is like covered in dirt, like nobody's ever sat in it. That's great. Of all the places to shoot your hydraulic fluid, that is like the...
Yeah, it was kind of lucky that it didn't.
It's awesome. That's like, I couldn't ask for more than that. These are...
And no one got hurt, right? That was my first fear, was that someone got, like a hose flying around. I was worried somebody got...
Yeah. I mean, if you have a hydraulic system, you know what you get?
Hydraulic leaks.
Exactly.
Hoses explode.
It's fine. Usually they don't go away, they just spray oil, so as long as it's not like right in your face, it's okay.
They both took it straight to the face.
Fabulous. So this is our geo in here, these two, for the loop. I don't think the wells are in series. I think they're in parallel, but I'm not really sure about that. So here's the courtyard. We've been using this door today because our man door is a wreck. So we're doing some insulation down here, and we've got thermal insulation going in above the door here. You can see that steel strapping holding it in place. And then acoustical insulation going between the stairwell. That's so terrible. You guys can't see anything. Stairwell there. And then fire blocking, subdividing the spaces. And then simultaneously we have draft stopping too. So sheetrock here. And then can maybe see some of this here. So draft stopping going across there. Tip for the wise, install your draft stopping first and then have your contractors penetrate it, and then you can easily firecock it shut later if they just drill holes in it. That would be great. So our insulation here, we're going in, we're filling everything, all the spaces. So these are not code compliant walls in here, so they're not done. These are fire blocking subdivisions. And then you can see up here, fire blocking in the hallway here. Goes up there, and then it also goes above these steel ducts here, which was spectacular. We had a man standing inside there. Totally crazy. So we got a lot of services in this hallway. So more fire blocking here. So this goes up. There's 2 micro lambs that run right there, and then they go into the stairs. So we're blocked out up against the micro lambs because they're more than 1.5 inches of wood. So every 10 feet down the hallway, another fire blocking here. Every 10 feet down the hallway, bam. Another one there. So this is the theater. So the theater has a cloth ceiling. And so the mineral wool and the ceiling is going to be on the ceiling level, right backing the cloth. So these are not thermal, but fire. And we got in behind them really nice. So it's all nice and firm. Every 10 feet in the horizontal. And our walls are more than 10 feet. So we insulated behind the blocking on the bottom here. And that got us just less than 10 feet. So we don't have any insulation against this concrete because it's inside the air barrier and inside the 8 inches of 29-pound expanded polystyrene. And all of that wall, all the way down to the footer, and then all the way around the footer, and then underneath of the footer as well. And that turns up on the inside 8 inches and then ties into an 8-inch foam underneath of this concrete. So all of the concrete of the foundation, footer, floor is completely thermally engaged. So next week we're putting a glycol loop in here, and the glycol loop is going to transfer heat from upstairs to downstairs and heat all of this concrete up, which is going to be really cool. So mechanical room here. It's a triangle, which is fabulous. So we have our submarine radiant glycol loop manifold going in here, fire pump here in the corner, geo heat pump for the in-floor radiant, and then geo to air heat pump for this half of the house, and there's another one on the other side. Zender and manifold for our 2 geo loops here, or our geo loop has a manifold and a pump here, I think, that's going under the Zender. So just enough space. So this is a low voltage panel here, and then a lighting panel, and we have to maintain our 36 here. So we're gonna slide this over. This is just sitting temporary. So more insulation, fire blocking here. Our spectacular ERV pipe runs here. Subdivision fire blocking, subdivision fire blocking, subdivision fire blocking here. So we're also insulating all the way up to the floor deck on all those locations for fire and thermal, or not, sorry, fire and acoustic insulation, and again over the door and also packed in above the door. So looking very nice in here. These spaces are much smaller when they're insulated. Same thing in this bedroom. This is the one we were in. So fire blocking here. The garage is still in process. This is basically another building. We don't have anything in here that's inspected. This is all not inspected. So this is our air barrier here dividing the garage off. We're going to put a undersigned door in here for air sealing. So thermal insulation up here. This part of the roof is outside. So thermal there. That's inside, so we're not gonna insulate that because we have fire sprinkler pipes above it, and we want the heat to go up through that deck to heat the little pocket there to keep the fire sprinkler pipes from freezing. So we got our windows taped in really nice. Love that. The drill bit window. If you haven't seen that, you should watch the video on that. That's pretty fun. So we're gonna build a scaffold on the staircase tomorrow, and then we're gonna go up there and insulate all that, and then that and that and that. So it's gonna be a fun day. Too many windows. Gotta get my sunglasses here. So coming out. Finally got some of the doors open. The pool is looking good. So the pool is in, concreted, cured, and backfilled, which is great. So insulation, we're only doing 12 inches here. That's why it's not filled down to the bottom, because we have a sloping EPS foam on the roof. So it's not EPS, it's not EPS foam on the roof, but it's sloping, and so we've got a nominal 6 inches of insulation outside here. So we got our squeegee in. This is 3 or 4 feet of squeegee here over this whole area, because this is where our pool pipes are going. So we had to embed them all in squeegee. I think it was at least 3 feet. That's our tank for our fire pump. And more insulation. Don't know how to talk about the insulation for this whole video, but I'm going to give it a try. So these water pipes up in here are fire sprinklers, and that's why the insulation is gapping there, so the heat will go up to the fire sprinkler pipes. Not that we think they're going to freeze in there, but so more insulation, thermal outside, thermal, thermal, thermal. These are all acoustic insulations here because they back up to the great room, of course. And how many bales of insulation have we gotten on this project, do you think?
A non-zero amount before the last month, and then
Yeah, it was probably
150 bales over the last, more.
no.
200
We
bales?
will. Brian and I bought 150 that one day,
Yeah.
and then this was another 60,
Yeah.
and then I went and got 25.
Yeah.
We probably had 50 before that.
It's got.
I don't even know what that is. 300. It's a lot, whatever it is. So kitchen wall here, we have an exterior wall on this little triangle. So we're going to do Intello on here to keep moisture dry from the kitchen from going out to the sheathing on that one. 12 inches in these 24-inch micro lambs, which ended up below the sprinkler pipes, thank God. Hola, Hector. So, finished plywooding our shear wall here. That's done. Secondary mech closet. More geo loops. Geo connection here for this side of the house. The third Zender. Those are the 600s. And more insulation. So we put all this in. I would say it's nominally 12 inches, but some places it's a skosh thicker. We fully insulated above this before we installed that plywood for the plumber, so that was already ready already. We're gonna have acoustic in here, thermal on this wall. So far we're 100% mineral wool on this house. So this is 2x6 with an air gap to a 2x6 and then sheathing and then a 2x4. So the walls are 16 inches. So the window is set in the center of the wall. So there's this much wall on the outside also. And it's 100% mineral wool all the way. This is our sloping ceiling for the shower. So we hot wire CNC cut this into a slope because it's a steam shower here. So we don't want cold water droplets falling on the clients. So the sloping shower ceiling, when it's all plastered in, will keep the water running to the edges and going down the wall. So that's going to be super. More acoustic insulation here and behind all the toilets. This is the master suite. So we're doing a permanent crimp on this ground rod here. Pretty cool stuff. So we cleaned it up, all shiny, and we're going to take this mechanical lug and we're going to replace it with this crimp lug. And this is a permanent bond crimp lug. And it's pre-lubricated inside here and on this. It takes a 1/2 inch or a 5/8 rebar for the UFR. And this pass through here will take, so it says 1/2 inch. Oh God, can you see that? Nobody can read that shit. 1/2 inch to 5/8 rod, and then it's 2 gauge on the copper. So we're going to crimp this onto here so that we don't need to have a mud ring. You might be able to get this behind a nightstand, but it'd be nicer to not have it at all. And then this is my crimper. It's that number, which, you know, it's outrageous. And the die is listed on the crimp, and it's die 977. So when you crimp it, the die, it says 977 on it inside there, and it'll say 977 on the end here. And then this copper wire is for tying the conductors into it before you crimp it. So that's the ground rod. So that's what we're doing today. Hope that's cool. See ya.